This is for successful family members only. My uncle smirked and closed the door in my face. Minutes later, their billion-dollar investor walked in, wearing my face. The shocking truth. I adjusted my simple black blazer, standing in the marble lobby of Harrison Enterprises. Around me, my family members streamed into the main conference room, dressed in their designer best for the emergency board meeting. No one spared me a glance. I was invisible, just as I'd been for the past 7 years. "Emma, what are you doing here?" My Uncle James's voice cut through the permeating chatter. He stood in the doorway of the conference room, his expensive suit and carefully styled gray hair screaming old money and power. "I'm here for the meeting," I said calmly, holding up the company ID I still kept. "I own shares, remember? The ones Grandpa left me." A dismissive laugh rippled through the gathering crowd. My cousin Peter smirked from behind his father. "Those worthless class shares, they don't even give you voting rights anymore." He was right. 7 years ago, when I'd refused to sell my small inheritance of company shares, the board, led by Uncle James, had voted to convert them to non-voting stock. It was their way of ensuring I'd never have a say in the family business. "This is a critical meeting," Uncle James said, straightening his Italian silk tie. "This is for successful family members only, people who understand business." The irony of his words almost made me laugh. If only he knew why this emergency meeting had been called. If only he knew who really held the cards. But I started playing my part perfectly. "You what?" My cousin Amanda cut in her diamond bracelet, catching the light as she gestured dismissively. "You'll contribute your vast experience from working at that little investment firm." "What do you even do there, secretary?" More laughter. They had no idea that my little investment firm was just a front, that I was actually the founder and CEO of Phoenix Capital, one of the most secretive and successful investment companies in the country. The same company that had just acquired 45% of Harrison Enterprises through a series of shell corporations. "This meeting is about saving the company," Uncle James said firmly. "Something you wouldn't understand. Now, if you'll excuse us, we're expecting an important investor." He closed the door in my face, the heavy wood making a satisfying thud. I checked my watch, right on schedule. I walked to the elevator, pressed the button for the top floor, and entered my private office, the one none of them knew existed. Inside, I changed from my simple blazer into an Armani suit worth more than Uncle James's car. My assistant, Claire, was waiting. "Everything's ready," she said, handing me a leather portfolio. "They have no idea Phoenix Capital is you. The paperwork is prepared exactly as you wanted it." I opened the portfolio, reviewing the documents one last time. Acquisition papers, voting rights transfers, new board appointments, everything I needed to take control of Harrison Enterprises. "How much time do I have?" I asked, although I already knew the answer. "They're all assembled in the conference room," Claire replied, a small smile playing on her lips. "Mr. Harrison is about to announce the company's financial crisis. Then you're expected to make your grand entrance as the mysterious CEO of Phoenix Capital." I nodded, thinking back to 7 years ago. I just graduated with my MBA full of ideas about modernizing Harrison Enterprises. But Uncle James and the rest of the family had laughed me out of the boardroom. "Leave the business to the men," they'd said. "Focus on finding a husband instead." So, I had left, taking my small inheritance and grandmother's advice about patience. I built Phoenix Capital from nothing, operating in complete secrecy, watching as my family's arrogance slowly drove Harrison Enterprises toward bankruptcy. Now they needed a savior, and they had no idea that the mysterious billionaire investor they'd been courting was the same person they just kicked out of their meeting. "Send the signal," I told Claire. "It's time for the CEO of Phoenix Capital to make an appearance." She pressed a button on her phone, sending a message to the boardroom that their potential savior had arrived. I gathered my documents and stood before the mirror, checking my reflection. Gone was the invisible cousin in the simple blazer. In her place stood a woman worth billions, about to buy out the family that had underestimated her for so long. "Ready?" Claire asked, holding the door. I smiled, thinking of Uncle James's smirk as he closed the door in my face. "Oh, yes," I said. "I've been ready for 7 years." The corridor to the conference room had never felt longer. With each step, I could feel the weight of 7 years of planning, of silent victories and patient waiting, carrying me forward. Behind those doors, my family was about to learn a very expensive lesson about underestimating the wrong person. I paused at the entrance, straightened my suit, and nodded to Claire. It was time for the mystery investor to make her entrance. Time to show them exactly who they'd kicked out of their meeting. The conference room fell silent as I walked in. Uncle James stood at the head of the table mid-sentence about the company's dire financial situation. His face lit up when he saw me, not with recognition, but with desperate hope. After all, in this suit, with my hair elegantly styled and my posture radiating power, I looked nothing like the failed cousin they dismissed minutes ago. "Ladies and gentlemen," Clarera announced from behind me, "allow me to introduce the CEO of Phoenix Capital." I surveyed the room, savoring the moment. My cousin Peter had stopped texting under the table. Amanda's perfectly manicured hand froze halfway to her mouth. Uncle James practically tripped over himself, rushing to greet me. "We're so honored to have you here," he gushed, extending his hand. "I'm James Harrison, CEO of Harrison Enterprises." I let him hold out his hand for just a moment too long before taking it. For now, I said quietly, watching confusion flicker across his face. Taking my place at the head of the table, his place, I opened my portfolio. Shall we discuss why Harrison Enterprises is worth saving? Of course, Uncle James recovered quickly, retaking his seat. As you can see from our projections, your projections are wrong. I cut him off, sliding financial documents across the table. Your company is bleeding money faster than you're admitting. Your Asian markets are collapsing. Your tech division is 3 years behind the competition, and your real estate holdings are mortgaged to the hilt. Shocked murmurs rippled through the room. These were secrets they tried desperately to hide from potential investors. How did you? Peter started, but I continued as if he hadn't spoken. Now you can watch the second part by pressing share and more.